Hello, Libra. It's your turn, and I'm excited to do this read for you. What we're going to cover is this is going to be your life's purpose, as it relates to your business career, and maybe you're going through some self-reflection as it pertains to this, and this, wow. So this is going to be timeless because this really taps into your life's purpose, and that's not going to always change every single month. It can be reevaluate itself and evolve as you go through it, but I want to start here. So just note that. So I'm excited to do this. I thought this would be something fun since we're all kind of going through that time of self-reflection, reevaluating, and really kind of reprioritizing and kind of sifting and sorting and going through what are how we want to move forward in life with some of the changes in our world. So I know if I myself am doing this, I know a lot of you are doing this as well. So I'd like to do this together. So let's go ahead and jump into this for you and see what wants to come out. Now, this is going to be a general read for all Libras, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as your Venus. If you are looking to tap into your own personal life purpose even deeper, or into your own personal energies, you definitely want to go to the guidedintuitive.com up here or in my description box below for a read. But if you are looking to make a change as it pertains to your life purpose and your career, and you want that inspiration, motivation, that clarity, that accountability, and to really reach your goals and what it is that you want to do, book that discovery session up here. It'll give us a few minutes. We'll make a recommendation, and then we'll be able to recommend what would be best for you in terms of one of our programs. Okay, so let's do this. All right, let's jump in and find out what are you passionate about at this time. So let's take a look at what you're passionate about right now and see what wants to come out. Okay, what is Libra passionate about right now? Okay, let's see, it's a couple more shuffles. Okay, here it is. All right, here we got it. What is it? Wow, we've got the teacher. Okay, Libra, we've got the teacher. So this is about what you're passionate about, all right? So this falls into, that to know is to grow. And so what I'm feeling here is this is really talking about knowledge and intelligence. Now, many of us might be updating some of our skill sets and really honing in on what we want to do and becoming even better at what we do, or just maybe even pivoting into a role of something that you truly want to do. So there you have it. But this is really talking to me about, the teacher, which is about being very inspired, very considerate and generous when it comes to helping others learn. And I always believe, and I think I mentioned this in the Aquas video too, is that we are all students of learning. And when we feel that we know everything, then we've really lost it, right? Because we don't learn anymore, right? And so I'm a constant believer of always being a student of learning. So I do agree with you that here. This is also about being very understanding. And what I love about you, Libra, too, it's about being very communicative. You're very, in your obviously in your highest energy and not your shadow energy, but predominantly you in that teacher type energy. That's what's kind of coming into play here. So this really tells me that you love working and you love teaching others and being involved with others, I should say. That's really, really big for you. And I also think too is that you recognize that you're a conduit for learning and growth, and that could not, and you have this very unique ability to really turn the light on for others. Okay, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I don't know why I didn't think of that. So you've got that knack to do that. And it's kind of like your soul's desire, and what you're passionate about is to really illuminate your knowledge and uplift others, but to do it in a very unique way. Okay, and to do it in a very artful way as well. Okay, so that's kind of what I was getting at here. Okay, you know that if you need and crave recognition, or if you if you get arrogant or become controlling or a know-it-all, that's your shadow side. At that point, oh, that's your darker side. So it's about flipping and turning the light on for you, and then moving up the ladder into the lighter side, into your soul's purpose, which is conduit of learning and change and growing for the world. And you stand by that, is what this is saying, that you're passionate about that. So note your comments below. I'd love to find out if that actually resonates with you, but it is about being the teacher, okay? And it's you're just this vivacious learner. You have this wealth of knowledge that you can really draw from, and you really attract a lot of new teaching opportunities to you, is what this talks about. Okay, and a lot of people trust you. You're trusted by many as this teacher here, and you can profit greatly by just giving what you know to whoever needs that, whether it's on the job or whether it's off the job. So this is what's coming into play. This is beautiful. This is what you're passionate about. And that's exactly what I'm getting there. So the teacher is what's coming into play. And that is just about being a good communicative person. It has a strong presence, because that's what it's going to take. Is very, very wise, practical, and really is just very connective to others. Okay, so that's what I get. So note your comments below. Let's take a look at what your talents are. That's what you're passionate about. Let's take a look at what your talents are. All right. Let's just take a look at what you're good at. Okay, let's pull a card on what you're good at. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, the organizer. Okay. This is beautiful. This is ruled by Saturn, this card. This is nice because this talks about that everything has their rightful place. Okay. So this tells me that you just know that how to organize things. You know how to be very practical and truthful, and be very, very patient and orderly and very considerable, to others. Very considerate, I should say, and very reliable. But that's what it is. Like, the organizer is all about knowing that there's a detailed way that things can be, and instinctively you know how to make order out of chaos. Okay, and that is some beauty in that, and that is a talent. You know how to organize a mess and create this beautiful way of understanding for others, especially, of course, even as a teacher. So this is really beautiful, and yeah, it's like it's almost as if that you are like, you know that everything has its rightful place in kind of in life, and you have that there's divine order, and that there's things that sometimes need to support the higher levels, right? And so you just know intuitively how to do that and to align with the divine order. And this could be spiritually too. Okay. Yeah, it's like you know how to simplify things, and when you simplify things and put it in order, you create this beautiful sense of this beautiful sense of freedom. Okay, and that's exactly what I get from this card. It's kind of doing what you love. I mean, your superpower is sensing something is missing, and then you can instinctively be able to modify and restructure it, and promote a lot more harmony and success as a whole. So this is a really big gift, and many of you have probably done that in your lifetime. And this is telling this is one of your great talents. Okay, and you definitely have high standards. You can get that right from this card. I just feel like it's very opulent, and that you have very high standards in what you do. It's like you don't put out crap. You really focus on quality and having the results. That's really key. And that's funny because that's a tagline for my business. It's like in my other side, of my strategy side, it's quality and results, and I really believe that. So I love this quality in you, because I really truly believe that this is so key for you. But it's like when you hit your mark, I mean, you are so thrilled, and when you have to compromise and really to get a job done, you really are able to make peace, surrender, and just move on. And it's so huge, and it's kind of like, if there's a will, that there's a way, and you're just gonna find it, and you're gonna do it in the right way, right? If you get into, perfectionism or stubbornness, that's actually flowing into your low shadow side. So just know that in terms of your talent, if you get like that, just kind of snap yourself, say, oh my gosh, that stubbornness, perfectionism, that's in my shadow side. I got to kind of go a step higher, in the fountain, move up the fountain here, is going to step higher into the spiritual side. And I'm sorry for the glare there, guys. Going to the spiritual side a little bit, to the fountain of life where there's more wealth. And this is saying here is that, it's like your soul's desire is to channel and structure energy and the flow in the practical form. I really feel a lot of you could be energy healers. A lot of you might deal with energy in some way, in some instance in what you do, is what I feel. You know how to create that, and I think it's very, very key. Okay, so that's what I get here. I mean, some of your greatest gifts are having that high standards, and you the really practical minded problem solver is what I get. You're such a great organizer, very systematic. Okay, so let's gonna say, well, how can we bring that teacher and how can we bring that organizer together, and what does that look like? Okay, and maybe what professions would that fall into? So let's take a look at what that is. Okay. We've got, oh, this is interesting. You know who got this? Gemini got this too. You might have to take a look at your moon, rising, and Venus signs, because that could give you some ideas as well. But this really talks about being the administrator. And when I see this is someone that can see the spirituality from a high level view, however, can also see things on the physical plane and breach that gap of communication. It's kind of like bridging the gap between two different worlds, all right? And creating that infinity symbol of the 8 is what I'm thinking of. I don't know why, but it's kind of like bringing that balance in where some people only can understand this side, the high self, and then those on the physical plane can only stand that. You're able to breach the gap between both worlds and conduct your life in an artful way, in a visionary way, and this is saying that's what the administrator is. Can you walk both worlds, on the earthly plane and the spiritual world? So what does that look like? So it's about your high level attributes as being like really grounded. You're persevering in what you do. This is actually creating the music between both worlds. You can see all the animals, everything's in harmony, in magical harmony in some way. It is about being very moral. So it's like, following your truth, very humanistic, right? And I get being very also disciplined and assertive at the same time. So you would sometimes put that discipline and assertiveness into this spiritual, and being able to do that. That's what it takes to kind of bring those together and to be the administrator in your own life and the conductor of your own life, creating your own music, creating your own art, creating your own life and your life purpose and what that is for you. So this I find very, very interesting. Okay. So it's beautiful. And it's also too, it's like, I also feel that for some of you that when you're acting on your lower side is that you have a very limited viewpoint and you're not seeing others' viewpoints, or perhaps that you become your own inner critic, or it's about taking on too much, over responsibility. Okay. That's in your lower side, but really your soul desire is to really be grounded and kind of like a social service oriented leader that really preserves and uplifts humanity in some way. And so this is about uplifting humanity. And what is the most perfect time, guys, to do that and to really look into that, and knowing that you could be a conductor and administrator in terms of making that happen, not only for your life, but for others' life. So that's how you're bringing like the teacher and the organizer together. This again, is all about, I think the biggest thing for 2 is about high standards, being very trustworthy. So this is about just administering that, really doing that. And it could be that, if you find yourself stuck or unproductive, you want to shift your attitude. And I think that's one of the big things that's coming out here. Okay. It's like, don't always, and if you knowing your shadow side, if you are coming into this where you said it's my way or the highway, that's the shadow side, right? You know that it's much higher level than that, and that's what I'm getting. So it's being the administrator. So you people are coming to you to make some sort of sense between both worlds. And I think it's becoming some sort of teacher, counselor, an organizer behind a vision, behind an organization, or just being that administrator and creating your own revolution in terms of your own business and what you do, and artfully putting that into form. Okay. Yeah, it's really, you can just take something that's irrational and make it rational into grounded form for others. And that's huge. So you are conducting something. So just note that below. It's got to be you conducting something, your own business, being a leader, being a manager, in charge of something that, brings humanity and uplifts humanity. And that's going to be key. I want to move into, how do you make this happen? How do you become the administrator and you combine that teacher and that that organizer? How do you make this happen? So let's take a look at what that looks like. How do you make this happen? Let's take a look at what that is. How can you make this happen? What is that? A leader. Yeah, of course, of course. Here's what it is. You lead, okay? Just like, the lead of when birds fly south, there's always that one bird that's kind of leading the way, so to speak. This is about you leading by example, okay? And but you're leading from the heart center. And this energizes you, okay? And this is really big. This is about being very brilliant. I mean, you can see the light in here. Be very confident, that solar plexus chakra coming through here. And the I am, that I am powerful and that I can lead, and I'm leading with my heart, okay? So how do you make this happen to become that administrator? Is that you lead with your heart. This card is ruled by the sun, and it's one of the most beautiful cards in the tarot as well. But this just tells me that that you are a leader, and that this is really focused in on, how do I want to call it? It's like you're being so trustworthy. You are really that visionary that is vital to an organization, anywhere. You kind of lead the flock, right? And you're very passionate and inspiring and very positive is also very, very key, that's coming through here as well. So yeah, and it's like you want to be free from the past, and you want to create your own ideal future. So this really is truly your how you can make this happen is by living in the present moment, letting go of the past, and creating an ideal future as to what it is that you want. So this is actually shifting into that, right? It's a very purposeful person, right? A leader is, they're very courageous and they lead others to a better future. And that is how you can do that. So you're a leader. It's like you have this vision, that you can help others create a vision, and you inspire them to really align with their goals, right? So it's about aligning, and really tapping into their divine guidance, and really trusting their intuition. Is very, very key. Again, that's where it comes in terms of bringing it both together. You can tap into the higher realm and the ground, and that the earthly plane. Your gifts here are about just being a very a visionary, right? And very consistent and very trustworthy, very decisive. You listen too, right? And this is about authenticity. Okay. Yeah, so it's about leading others while courageously, being aligned with your high value gifts. Okay. And that is in terms of organizing. There's a place for everything, and knowing that you can teach and be the administrator of that by stepping into a leadership position. What is your advice for the path? Let's see what that is for you. How are we on time? Okay, almost done. Okay. All right, here it is. The messenger. So your advice for the future is to bring the light of the awareness to the universe. Okay. And this is all that green, which is that heart chakra there, right, Libra? So this is really beautiful. It's kind of balancing out the world, right? And letting others know the light, but being the light and leading with the light, and becoming very empowered to do so. it's not only being, having a beautiful, being very perceptive with the third eye in the higher realm, but also being very intelligent and instinctive and adaptable, and bringing that down into making something on this earthly plane too. So it's really beautiful. It is a very instinctual too, and very psychic. Okay, very psychic ability in terms of making this happen. What you see is you can kind of put it into action in some way, and some way it just really wants to come out. So it's kind of like I don't know, that's exactly what I see here. It's just really kind of cool. I just love it. So just note that if you get like a little bit selfish, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Fickle. You know that you're on your lower energy, on your shadow side, and not leading by your light. So it's about honing back into what your soul's purpose is, and what that is that you're the interpreter of the divine. Okay, and that's kind of how I see it, and you lead others. This is really gorgeous. My gosh, unbelievable. Because the messenger is kind of that versatile bridge between the domains of the body, mind, and soul, and of course the realm, the spiritual side and the earthly realm. So, and we've covered that there. So it's really being, you just bring the light to others of awareness, a different way of thinking and feeling. So it's really beautiful. Yeah. It's like adaptability. Yeah. So just note that, your high valued gifts are, in terms of being that messenger, and your advice is to be that messenger, is to be a talented speaker. You could be a writer. You could be an empath. You could be that. And it's about being, really good humored. Okay. And as a really skilled translator. So some of you might be that as well. So note your comments below, but I'd love to hear, what that looks like for you. But great at negotiation, okay? Because you get that Libra, it's a balancing of scales. You want compromise, you want balance, you want fairness, you want truth, right? It's about balancing the higher level plane and the lower level plane, balancing that out too. So it's becoming that messenger for the world in that way. So I love it. Great talents. We love having you. So note your comments below. Please like, subscribe, and note that. And first, of those of you that want to take it a step deeper, into a read just for you on this, then definitely go to theguidedintuitive.com up here on my description box. Or for those of you that want to take it even a step further and really get into your calling and what that is for you, then you want to book a discovery session up here. You'll see it in my description box, but that's some one-on-one time for us to make a recommendation and invite you in for one of our courses if it's a really good fit. Okay. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, namaste.